developed the concept of the girl cell, C-E-L-L cell, and which she described as a cell we all have, irrespective of our sex or gender. This cell, she says, is the force behind compassion, empathy, vulnerability, openness, intensity, intuition, and lots more. Compassion informs our wisdom. Vulnerability is our greatest strength. Emotions have an inherent logic which leads to radical, appropriate, saving action. Patriarchy, however, takes issue with all of this. Patriarchy teaches us that compassion clouds our logical thinking, that vulnerability is weakness, that emotions are not to be trusted, that you are not supposed to take things personally. Enster then further notes that the whole world has been brought up to not be a girl. Everybody is so keen to ask everyone to not be like a girl. An adult woman, a very dear friend, who I know once shared with me that she was subjected to bullying at her workplace by a toxic manager. One day, when she broke down at a meeting, the same manager shouted at her, saying, "Will you please stop crying like a little girl?" In many cultures, we are told, girls can't do this, girls can't do that. And to a little boy who shows the slightest emotion or empathy, he is often ridiculed with, "Stop crying like a girl," or "Stop behaving like a girl." So Eve Enster concludes that being a girl is so powerful that patriarchy has had to train everyone not to be a girl. And that the irony is that denying girl or suppressing girl, as in suppressing emotion, refusing feeling, has led us to live in a world where the most extreme forms of violence, the most horrific poverty, genocide, mass rape are all out of control. And because we have suppressed our girl selves, we do not feel what's going on. So we are not providing adequate responses to what is happening. So in a world of this nature, feminist theology is a tremendous force for transformative change. A few weeks ago, I was supposed to fly out on a work trip on a Sunday morning. The week before here at All Souls, when I heard that the following Sunday's service will be led by a woman, the first thing I did was to change my flight to the flight plan to fly on that Sunday evening. Growing up in an Anglican Christian environment in a South Asian country, I never, not once, saw a female minister leading a service. Representation matters. Take any faith tradition and you will easily notice that they are all largely founded by, led by, and administered by men. How religious establishments operate has therefore been largely determined by the male experience and consequently a patriarchal perception of the world. This International Women's Day weekend is an occasion to remember women who have developed feminist theological insights and knowledge. I would love to mention the good name of a dear friend and role model, the Right Reverend Ecclesia de Lange, formerly of the Methodist Church of South Africa. Ecclesia left the Methodist Church when it disapproved of her same-sex relationship and created her own altar in the form of her organization, Inclusive and Affirming Ministries, a loving and caring space of faith for women, for queer people, and people from many other diverse lived experiences who have long been excluded from Christian spaces as well as other faith traditions. In the Christian faith, feminist theology calls for a fulsome appraisal of the experiences, perspectives, and outlooks of women in how we produce knowledge and share our faith with ourselves and with each other. As someone with a deep interest and passion for feminist theology, I would like to remind myself, and all of us in this congregation and beyond, that feminist theology does not only concern women. It is a space that concerns all of us. that calls upon each and every one of us to reflect critically about how we can make a difference. Feminist theorist Dr. Bell Hooks, a woman of faith herself, notes in her book The Will to Change that patriarchy affects all of us. Its power politics have adverse impacts on each and every one of us, including those of us who are positioned in places that benefit from its hierarchies by virtue of our sex, gender, socioeconomic status, and many other factors. So, feminism, therefore, is, as a means of challenging the patriarchy, concerns all of us. On a weekend that encourages all of us to take stock of the high levels of violence against women, gender-based injustices, and patriarchal violence that surrounds us, may we all go with the determination to intentionally activate that girl cell, and may the blessings of the divine feminine be upon you at